Okay, then I'm quickly gonna talk about what's in the salary of a person, because yeah, for the worker it's really important to know what he's gonna get at the end of the month. And so the first important thing is, in Belgium we have different paritaire comités, and that's depending on the sector you're working in. Most of you, as so I understand, are in paritaire comité 302. That's the horeca, hotel, restaurant, cafe, and such things, very diversity. And so each paritaire comité has his own rules. Time working, eco checks, salary, all the things that are different in each sector. Because yeah, you know, in the transport sector, you don't have the same rules and as in hospitals, for example. They cannot just transfer these informations. So if we look in the horeca, in the 302, you have to respect the loonbarimas. There is always a minimum salary you have to get to someone. So here I just take one quick line of it. But you know, depending on how many years you worked, you have a certain salary you have to respect. You also have to pay attention to the function of the person, because yes, someone who's a manager doesn't have the same salary as someone who's a cashier, and so on and so on. So you have to take a look to the function, and then you said, okay, it's category 3, for example, and then you have to look to the category, what is the corresponding salary of it. Also important, if for example you engage me in your company as a cleaner, so cleaner is category 2 and you give me the salary of category 2, then within the years I did great in your shop and your cashier went sick, and so I take slowly her place as a cashier, for example. In my contract, you says, okay, cleaner, but in reality, I'm a cashier, because most of the time I do your cashier stuff in your shop. So then automatically I'm gonna go in category 3. So the reality is always gonna win from what's in your contract. So you cannot say, oh yeah, but in your contract you said cleaner category 2. I'm gonna say, yeah, but in reality, you know, I do your cashier stuff, so I'm demanding a salary from category 3. And I'm gonna win, because the reality always wins from what's in your contract. So pay attention to the function and to the corresponding salary. Other important stuff in paritaire comité 201 and 302, there are eco checks. You maybe heard of it. Eco checks are checks that the person can use to buy ecologic products. In the 302, in the horeca, they are going to be paid in December, so it just happened normally, and it's depending on when the person came into work. If the person worked from the 1st of December till the 3rd of November, they get 250 euros eco checks in December. If, for example, they only start working the 1st of July, for example, they're not going to get 250, they're going to get a bit less, because they didn't work the whole 12 months of reference. This also exists in the paritaire comité 201 for the shops, but I think it's in April that they are going to be paid, but I'm not sure again. Also important is the eindejaarspremie, the December bonus, I don't know how you call it in English. And so in the horeca, it's paid the 31st of January, ultimately. So they have to wait a bit longer than in the other sectors. And it's not the employer that pays, so you're not paying this to your workers. It's the Sociaal Fonds that pays, an apart fonds that pays the end of the year bonus to the workers. Now, I just said the employer doesn't pay directly to the worker. But you know, this money doesn't come from God or I don't know who. And the money comes from you indirectly because you pay some contributions every month, every trimester. And that money that finance these funds pays then the bonus to the workers. So indirectly you pay the bonus, but it doesn't come on their paycheck from the worker. Other important points, most of your workers maybe work at night or on a Sunday, most of the time of a Sunday. I suppose you're open on Sunday. So nights in the horeca, in the 302, it's when you're working from midnight till 5 o'clock in the morning. So maybe, I don't know, your shop is maybe open until 1 o'clock. Well, this 1 hour that you work after midnight is considered as night, and you have to pay a supplement from almost €1 per hour. That's something you have to pay. The same thing from when you're working on a Sunday. You have to pay €2 up front for each hour that is worked on a Sunday. So if the person works 6 hours on a Sunday, you pay the salary plus €12, and so on. So for a Sunday, for example, maybe it's better to think to employ a student because he will cost less than a normal worker, and so on. Also important in Belgium is the transportation costs. When the person comes working for you, he does it maybe by bike, by train, by tram, by metro, by foot maybe, by car, I don't know. But depending on how he comes to work, you have to pay something else. So if he comes by train, I don't know if there are a lot of workers who come working by train. There are some tables depending on the distance, and that declared how much you have to pay the worker. If you come by bike, we are in Antwerp, so normally there are a lot of bikers. You have to pay 20 cents per kilometer. So if the persons declare, okay, I live 12 kilometers from your shop, so I do 12 kilometers by bike and 2 kilometers back, that's 24. You have to pay 20 cents per kilometer each time he comes working. For all the other transportation, you have to live at least 1 kilometer from the shop. So if you're just neighbors, that's not going to work. But you pay 70% from the price of the train card. So normally you don't have to calculate this by yourself with your tables and stuff. Normally, Sociaal Secretariat does that for you. You just says, okay, he comes by bike and he lives there. And then the Sociale Secretariat calculates that by itself. But it's interesting to know that there are some indemnities you pay depending on how far and how the person comes working. That's also different in each sector. So that's from the horeca, but in another sector, in the construction, for example, all different amounts. And then the last one is also important in the horeca, the outfits, the clothes. I don't know if in your shops they have some uniforms of such things, but in most of the horeca zaken they have such things. There is a difference between if you give the clothes or if they have to buy their own clothes, and if they do by themselves the laundry, or if you do it by yourself. If you furnish the clothes, you said, okay, you have a hat and you have a jacket, or I don't know, and that's your outfit, and I will wash it, so the employer wash it, you don't have to pay anything, because you furnish and you wash. If you say, okay, that's your uniform, and you can see that every day your uniform is clean, I don't want you to come here with your clothes from yesterday all stinky and stuff, so they have to wash their own clothes, then you have to pay $141 each day they come work. If you said, okay, I don't have a uniform, but you have to have a white blouse and a black skirt, and I don't know, you give instruction on what they're gonna wear, you have to pay 141 for the laundry and 141 because you don't buy the uniform. So maybe it's interesting. I know some employers that says, okay, I'm gonna put a washing machine in the pause room so that the people can wash their clothes on the working place, so I don't have to pay 141 to each of my workers every day. But that's a decision you make on your own. But know that if you don't furnish and or you do not wash, you have to pay something to the workers.